Welcome to the 2014 edition of the 90 Degree Show, hosted by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Hello and welcome. I hope you all can hear me, and welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I am on my phone broadcasting again like before, but it is all good. We want to welcome you to the 90 Degree Show. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Today is January 25th, 2015, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening live or listening in podcast form through Blog Talk Radio, our website, Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, or whatever social media or whatever device you may have. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. All right, tonight is a special night for a number of reasons. We are actually, if you cannot tell the audio difference, do not have the Blue Yeti mic with me tonight. I am broadcasting through my cell phone, if that may be, before, because I am not in California. This is a special show for a number of reasons, like we said, but for one, this is our beloved Super Bowl competition, the Honda Battle of the Bands 2015, a very blessed and exciting event. And, like I said, because I am broadcasting from Jacktown, Mississippi. That's right, Sonic Boom Country, Jackson, Mississippi, in the home of my father, Dr. Joe L. Beard. I am here. My father, Dr. Joe L. Beard, passed last week. Class of Jackson State, 2000. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm about to say 2001. Yeah, that would be me. Class of Jackson, 1966. Crab in the Boom. Well, I'm sorry. And probably weren't crabs back then, but freshman in the best band in the land in 1962. Passed here last week in Jackson, so I came home to bury my father here. I will miss him greatly. So I was not sure about what I was going to do today for the show. You guys usually know I put stuff out throughout the week to kind of market the show, let folks know to pay attention and listen. But, funny enough, I set up everything and didn't really know what I was going to do. Got up this morning, got on the 5th to check out what happened last night and saw all of the videos posted. Thanks to the brother that did that. I think Halftime Shows Vibes 1911. We appreciate that brother. Give that brother a round of applause. He had all of the links, including the mass joint where everybody played Lift Every Voice and Sing, so that was really cool. But was able to get a hold of all the video, and I was like, I can probably do the show. We got good Wi-Fi here, good connection. And I brought all my stuff here, so I was like, what? My dad will probably turn up for me to do this show here in the home. So I'm sure he'll be happy I'm doing this. So thanks for all the love and the support from everyone, high school, college, grad school, all the folks in the neighborhood. I appreciate the support. Checked out the videos. I figured we could pull this off today, so thanks for listening to you as well, listening live, or if you're listening as this archive or in podcast form later on. Now, there are multiple matchups every week, and we cannot touch them all, but you can help us by calling into the show at the number you see there on your screen and fill us in on the experience that you had at the Honda Battle of the Bands. I talked to my homeboy Smut. Shout out to Smut. D'Anthony Smotherman, for all those, his government name, down there in ATL. I think he went, so he might be calling us in. But if you were out there and went to the program, I saw folks on everywhere talking about it last night. You go ahead and make sure you call us in. We have our own opinion of what we saw, so you can call in to correct us or explain something, explain the feel of the crowd at the game since we weren't there. Even if you disagree, we please encourage so, because this is a show for the people, and just like science, we want to go through as much peer review as possible. So the format for tonight's show, we'll dive right into the event. Since this was just the halftime show competition, we'll talk about the first 4 bands in the show description that I posted. Then we'll break. Then the second segment, we'll talk about the remaining 4 bands with my man Rashad. I see he's in the queue. I'm about to let him in here in a second. And then in the last segment, in our word on the street, we'll ask the people what they want out of the 5th, what they thought of the 5th overall, and some type of, I've seen a lot of folks talking about, should we add some type of stand element to the competition, or should we be doing anything to make it better, our beloved Honda event? Because this is our event, people, and what we do to it is what we have it. So let's take our first commercial break. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog number 4.marchingpodcast.com. If you are listening live, you know what? I'm glad I said that. I need to launch the chat room. Just a little different environment here, so I'm launching the chat room right now. So if you're listening live and have a Blog Talk Radio account, you can log into the chat room that will be up here momentarily and leave your comments there. Last and definitely not least, check out the website, themarchingpodcast.com. Let's take the time to hear from our sponsors. Tonight's show is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography, Block Band Music and Publishing, The Edge One Productions, Bandhead.org, the HBCUbands.com. Let's take the time to hear from them now.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I march in the Jackson State Marching Band, which was then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Chopping It Up is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information or hope in their endeavors. Chop it up with us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping It Up, changing the world through positive interaction.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Need to write music and drills? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
Hello, this is Brian Knowles, Associate Director of Bands at Miles College, and proud Tennessee State University grad and proud Alabama State University grad. And you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Hi, we are back. Thank you and welcome to listening. We can never, ever thank you enough for that. Thanks to our beloved sponsors that help us improve the show, help build our scholarship fund, and allow us to broadcast during these peak hours. Again, if you are interested in becoming a sponsor to the Marching Podcast Network, contact the show. And we will definitely give you the criteria so that we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help you send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help you build your business. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the show, guys. I got to bring my man Rashad on here on the line. How you doing tonight, Rashad?
Hey, man, it's all good, brother. It's all good, man. I hope there's no feedback here. You're listening live as I'm driving. You're coming through my car radio right now, so I just want to make sure there's no feedback coming through. Sound all right?
Okay, yeah, we sound okay, brother. I'm sitting here on my little wire or my little hands-free thing through my phone, and I can barely even hear our audio representations. But I think we all good, man. How's your week, man?
Oh, it was very good there, man, and I'm definitely sorry to hear about the passing of your father, man, but I'm glad to know that, he's a great man, been on the show several times, but I'm glad to know that Honda Alabama being right there was something that could help you get through it. And,
yeah, and, just so happens that, I'm here on this weekend. I really didn't know if I was going to do the show, but, I got up today. And I was really thinking about it a little bit before I went to bed last night. And I was like, man, I hope Jackson State won this thing. Or I hope Jackson State did something that people are talking something about. And I got up and I saw all the links. And I was just like, I can go ahead and push through these and do the show. So I texted you, and I was happy that you said you was going to do it. So, yeah, we all rolling, man.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hate to bust your bubble on that one when we get to Jackson State. I got a lot to say about Jackson State. The show might stop right then. We might not ever get to Southern.
Hey, man, hey, we don't want to ruin too much of the show, but upset. A brother was upset. You know what I'm saying?
I know you were. I kept telling the tape, man. I said, boy, I know Joe can't go be to stand this.
Man, I was like, you know what? It's going to be like the Brett Favre weekend when he went out there and turned up, you know what I'm saying, when his father passed. And I was like, man, Jackson State going to turn it out, dog. So, hey, I guess the beauty is an eye of the beholder. We'll definitely get into it because I'm sure some people disagree with me. But, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it, man. I think the first one I had on the docket, I did have Jackson State here in my little notes thing. Yeah, let's go ahead and get them out the way if you don't mind. Well, you know what? We got someone calling in already from the 954.
They already calling in.
I know. Let's see who this is.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
954. What's going on?
Who is this? Brother? This is Mike calling from Hollywood, Florida, from Louisiana, New Orleans. But, I listen to the show all the time. I just decided for the first time to call in and say what I thought about the Honda.
Okay, hey, brother. Well, welcome. You know what I'm saying? We're glad that you called in, man. I was just about to talk about Jackson State, so I guess you can go ahead and holler at us a little bit about what you saw. Go ahead and tell us what was your experience, man. We'll get into our stuff later.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this was the best lineup they had in years. Last time I saw a lineup, that was pretty decent was when FAMU was in it a couple of years ago. But this year I think it was a real solid lineup. But I will say this. Southern and Jackson State showed out. They were the cream of the crop. And anyone who doesn't agree with that, I think they have a problem mentally. I really do.
I agree. I got a serious mental problem.
You don't agree? Hey, it's all good. But listen, check it out, man. North Carolina A&T, they're always doing something unique, and I appreciate them for that because that's what you want, and especially with HBCUs, you want someone to bring something different to the table. But to be honest with you, Southern took the show. Southern stole the show, and it is what it is.
So you felt Southern did the best. Let me ask you this.
No. Southern, I'm not going to say they had the best field routine, period. Because that's up for discussion. I'm talking about music quality, sound quality, the entertainment aspect of it, and just grabbing the crowd. I think Southern did the best job. Southern and Jackson State, to be honest. And I know you're a Jackson State fan, so I'm not going to leave them out. But I just got to call it how I see it, man. When I was there, it was amazing, the vibe and the air when Jackson State and Southern took the stage, and
I ain't
you
gonna lie.
can beat that feeling.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. Noticing from what, of course, I'm always giving a video, but I felt that their execution was better. As far as Southern, we normally think Southern gonna execute on the field, and I was proud of Jackson State. That's that Dow Taylor. He really is doing a good job with them on the field in the drill. So I definitely felt they just executed their shows better. So who do you think did not give the best performance? Who do you feel was like at the bottom?
Can I be honest with you? And this might rub a few people the wrong way, but I'm not going to call them the bottom feeders of the show. But I wasn't too impressed with BCU like I usually am. Like BCU usually puts on a show that impresses me, but I guess it was so the same. Let's put it that way. It was so the same. That's the only way I can say it.
Rashad, what did you think about? What do you think about that statement?
Oh, he said that Bethune Cookman was the bottom feeder?
No, they weren't the bottom feeder. I was
no.
impressed with Bethune Cookman. I kind of expected
they
more
were
from
just bland.
that this is their venue. They do this all the time.
Yeah, kind of bland or with Bethune. Yeah, what did you think about Bethune's performance?
Yeah, I would completely disagree with that. I think that Bethune went out of their way to do something different this time. We all know that Bethune starts from the end zone, and then they, after a couple of yards, then they go into the BCU and they march it across the field, do that. And I think they purposely did some things that were very different, at least at the beginning of their show, because I'm sure that they're having to deal with us talking trash about them all the time, which I'm one of those. Even as a Bethune fan, I personally thought their show was very good. I did think there were some bands that were better than them.
Well,
yeah, man.
I guess the way I look at it is just, I expected way more from Bethune this year, especially considering the level of competition. I expected Bethune to come out and actually, show out. I really did. And, of course, I was rooting for Southern. I'm a Southern fan. But, I can appreciate great bands. I appreciate BCU because I really think they have one of the most prestigious bands as far as playing, the way they play, the quality of music that comes from that school. But as far as entertainment go, I was sitting in an area where it was kind of the whole vibe of the crowd was like, okay, well, we're going to see something, and it just never came. It was the same show they do, not the same show, but it was like the same vibe I got from a BCU show.
Yeah, and man, I ain't going to lie, man. I heard a lot of people say the same thing, and that was, we'll get into analysis a little bit when we talk about Bethune, but I felt the same, man, this is basic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they try. I just don't feel that enthusiasm come out, I guess, from Bethune. They execute well, they march, but one brother on the Facebook was saying that it looked like paint dry. You know what I'm saying? Watching that show, because it's just bland. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
So I kind of understand what you're saying, and I had a similar analysis to that. But But it's still, and my man Jay, what's my man Jay from Detroit, man? I wonder where he is today, because he said the same thing. It's like they just consistently good. So they feel good that they pulled off a good show. We may be wanting them to give us more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
yeah,
I will say this. I got to go, but I really want to get this out. I am very, very proud, and I'm very, it humbles me to know that, black people can come together and do something so wonderful. And we packed the place. 60,000 people, you can't get no better than that for a Honda. And I was so proud of every band. I'm talking from Howard on down to even Taladega, and I'm not a fan of Taladega at all. But for them to come out and actually attempt to do a quality show, even though they look like a hybrid Southern and Jackson State, they attempted to put on a good show, and I appreciate that because it seems like every band actually came in with the intent to really show out, but only a few bands stood out. But I have to go, man, and I really appreciate you having me on your show. I just want to give my couple of thoughts, and, I'm going to continue to listen. I just got some things I got to do with the kids, brother.
Hey, man, that's all good. We knew you were a Southern fan because you got that accent, brother. The Southern, you know what I'm saying? We knew you was, from that area. But, yeah, man, we appreciate your call, especially, the last words at the end, brother. We really appreciate what you're saying, brother.
Thank you. Keep up the good work, brother.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, man. 718-664-6025. You definitely can call in and let us know what the deal was. Definitely, man. Let's get into Jackson State because I want to talk about Bethune a little bit too, Shaw. But also, all right, Jackson State, brother. All right, so let me see. The main thing when people start talking about the boom is that maybe too laid back, or maybe there's some similarities with Bethune where it's like the shows have been the same for the last 400 years. I thought the drum major salute was okay. Because, I really like our drum majors, but sometimes their spacing ain't right. And the drum major salute looked like, it looked good, it was hype, got me excited, but sometimes it looked like their spacing wasn't together. And then it was looking like it was fast, like it was like robo speed or something like that. Especially like the back bend, the spacing was off with like the back bend. So, with that, it was like, okay, maybe it's a little small parts there. Outside of that, I loved this was doing something different. They had the one side, I guess, Sonic Boom of Georgia, Sonic Boom Mississippi on the other side, and they did two different things. Like they started the drill with like two different speeds. I thought that was excellent because they still were executing on the field, executing good, precise, accurate formations, transitions. So I was excited. And then they had the trumpet solo. And then Brother Rashad, I was just like, man, okay, I know I don't like this, but it's still, I'm not going to give Jackson State the L, just because there's two different things was just way too exciting for me. It's intricate. And then I keep watching the show, and then I see somebody else come out there. And
so you want to go there now? You want to go there with Jackson now? I thought you were going to save them to the end.
No. I got Jackson State on the way now. Yeah, hold on. Let me look at my little schedule thing since you're bringing it up. I got Jackson State first on the list.
They call the L. You were talking about bands catching L's. There's plenty more bands that caught L before Jackson ever thought about coming on the field.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. But I guess just GP. When I see somebody singing, man, I'm just like, oh man, it's just heartbreaking, man. But let me tell you, man, the trumpet solo was enough. But then they brought the dude. I don't know if it was a dude or a girl, but oh man, if somebody singing Mary J. Blige, I'm like, oh man. Okay, and then another thing, this one breaks my heart, Rashad. I appreciate good singing. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I don't be wanting to hear all that, yo. And the brother was out there walking and wilding out. I was just like, man, I was just so turned off. I was so disappointed, man. And then you still could get to it. They still had a good show. They sounded great. They blowing. I've seen a lot of people online say that they were like the loudest band there. And then somebody came out and rapped. So, like, while the band was walking off the field in the way of all the instruments, they had somebody rapping. And it was I don't even hear what he was saying.
You skipped 2 other gimmicks. Yeah, don't forget about the man in roller skates and underwear. Superman.
See, that's what I'm saying. That stuff I couldn't get to, because at least maybe it's funny or at least it's some type of skit. But the singing, man, is just, that's apprehensible, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it's so heartbreaking, man. And then to have the dude, like, rapping and he got all these motions, like, brother, I don't hear what you saying. You know what I'm saying? The boom behind you, fool. You know, it just broke my heart, man. But at least they were putting together a new Invader show. And, of course, that's my opinion about having people sing with the band. But they did have a new show. It wasn't your standard Jackson State show, so I would give them credit for that. But, man, 3 performers, wow. You should already be automatically at 4 for that. You know what I'm saying? You had 3 performers. Man, it's just heartbreaking, man. Well, but what did you think about it, Rashad?
You want me to, you said 2 miles.
No, like 0.2 miles.
Oh, sorry, man. We driving here trying to navigate.
Okay, don't get in trouble, brother.
Okay, if you want me to go there with Jackson State now, I hadn't planned to it because I'm telling you, man, as soon as I say what I got to say, you might not be able to finish the show.
Well, man, let's just go and get it out, man. Okay. And then we got somebody from the 404 actually just calling in. We'll get them after you say yours. Okay. So if you hear 404, just hold on to us right fast.
Man, well, I will tell you, let me just throw this out there. I love Jackson State, man. I think Jackson State has a fantastic band program. Particularly in the last couple of years, they've really been it's incredible. And a matter of fact, in 2013, I made it known, that I thought that that was going to be the band of the year. And, in my opinion, at the end of 2013, by the time they got to the championship game, I think that they had edged Southern. And the Southern was having a great year. I think they had edged Southern. So I was very, very impressed with them. Last year, I still think that Southern was a little better again, but still, Jackson had a great band program. But what they did Saturday, in my personal opinion, number 2 disappointment of the day. Number 2, I was incredibly disappointed by Jackson State's show. So let's break it down. They wanted to do the Tiger Run-On from either end. Okay, that's creative. However, to me, I think if you're a Jackson State fan, I think it was cool that they did something different. But I love to see the band, start slow and then run fast. Like, I've seen that 50 times. I don't know how many times. But every time I see it, it's cool. And every time I see it, the crowd responds. But this time, it was hard to with them doing it like, okay, this band, this half of the band started running, and this band part of the band still walking, and then they started running. It just didn't have that same type of effect. It's just everybody just boom. To me, it didn't really, it wasn't more impressive. It didn't add anything. To me, it limited the energy a little bit. But okay, let's go. So then they started with the first song, and that was a song, Stand Still in Place and Let the Trumpet Player, play. To me, that was an energy killer. It didn't seem like the right place for that. Like, to me, that's a great thing to put right in the middle of your show. Everybody standing still, let's go. But right there at the beginning, to kind of to get the energy going on with the Tiger Run-On, and then immediately stop and do that was kind of an energy killer a little bit. But it still wasn't that bad. Okay, from there, they went into the first portion of the drill. And the first portion of the drill, it just wasn't really anything happening. It was like for about, I want to say, 24 counts. I'm not sure if they were playing. They may have been playing just a little bit. But the announcer wasn't saying anything. It was just kind of like, what's happening right here? They weren't really forming anything. So that took away from the energy right there for me. Now, when they got to their main part of the drill, let me just say that Jackson State executed fantastically on their drill. And I was thinking about you
when
I watched that. When you talk about the kaleidoscope drill, the fact
it was
that
dope.
the fact that they had half the band marching, doing the step 2s at regular tempo, and the other half of the band doing step 2 at halftime. I thought that was fantastic, and it looked really, really good. So I got to absolutely give Jackson State credit for doing that. Okay. Also, I skipped something. At the very beginning of the show, Jackson State's percussion section was so loud, and I'm not hating because in starting out, I loved it. Like, there's so many drum lines that maybe there's too much tonal bass drum, or maybe the bass drums are not tuned quite right, so you don't really hear that impact. And we as black people, we like bass drums. So when they started, I was like, man, I'm feeling those bass drums, man. They sound good over there. But after that, it was way too loud. Now, hang on one second. Okay, so by full transparency, Jackson State was facing away from me. So the fact, as far as how loud the percussion section was with respect to the band, is debatable. But it seemed to me that drum line was really, really loud versus everything that's going on with the band. And Jackson State has an exceptionally loud band, but I still feel like drum line was way too loud. Now, let's go back. So after they finished their really, really cool drill, then they parked, and they brought out they slowed the show down for a second to show a video, and you brought your man out to sing. I'm like you. One gimmick was cool. If they had stopped right there and brought the trumpet player out, I'd have been happy. I'm not like you when it comes to singing. I don't mind somebody singing, But the fact that they just had the trumpet player at the beginning, and now they've got this going on, it kind of was a little too much for me right then. I do enjoy the power. I could tell that they were really throwing off some serious wattage at the end of that song. I mean, I could hear it coming off the stadium, but I just really wasn't feeling okay, we got this trumpet player and then we got this going on here. All right, but then from there, then they went to their dance routine, and during the dance routine, then they bring out the guy in roller skates and underwear with Superman cape on. What is that? And it's
I don't know,
before man. It can really before you can really even understand it. Like, I thought they were making fun of Southern with the big S. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been hilarious if they were like, "Oh, here's Southern right here. Look at this." That'd have been great. But before you even had the opportunity to enjoy that and appreciate that, then they had the mascot out there, and he's doing his thing. Then after that, then the dance routine happened. I mean, like you said, they're marching off the field, and then here's this guy that's rapping. It would have been cool if they had recognized, hey, they put Quintavious Johnson's name on the thing. Why not put Big Crit on there? Because I didn't have a clue who this guy was, And obviously see by all the DJ stuff where you got old school, new school people in that audience over.
Rashad? Oh, man, I think lost you, Rashad. We lost Rashad out there. We actually have a caller on the line. I can bring the caller in from the 404 area code. I'm sure we'll get back into it more with Jackson State. Caller from the 404, tell us what your name is, where you calling from tonight.
My name is Tariq, and yes, I'm in Atlanta. I was at the
What's going on, man?
I nothing much. I agree with a lot of the stuff that that the last guy was just saying. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely feel like that having that trumpet solo at the beginning, it really took away from like the whole energy that they were trying to give you. Like, it really just kind of threw me off. I was like, why are we slowing things down right now? It's like the show hasn't even started yet. I was really anxious to hear what he meant when who was his first disappointment, because I came on late, so I don't know who his first disappointment was. But
he hadn't given that to us yet.
Outside of Jackson, yeah, they were really, really loud, and I was actually sitting behind them, so I didn't get the full impact putting out there, but I kind of got the gist of what they were doing. I think like the biggest moment for me with them was the little sideline part, even though I really couldn't understand what that guy was rapping about or even who he was. I didn't know who he was. I just knew whatever it was they were playing was really loud.
Right.
And I really was just kind of like on the edge of my seat, like, why am I not on this side? I really wish they would have switched them and Alabama State, because I would have rather not hear Alabama State facing the side that I was sitting on. But I was actually really disappointed in Bethune Cookman. They sounded really good, but their show was really boring to me.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
That emoji thing that they did at the Florida Classic that nobody understood then, it still didn't really have
they brought
any
it back,
type of
yo.
effect. Like, why would you? Nobody got it the first time you did it. We still don't get it now, and only because I saw it at the Florida. I saw the clip from the Florida Classic, and I actually had to look up on my phone like what that face was. That was the only reason I understood it, and because seeing them doing it again, I'm like, okay, this is that same thing they did like 2 months ago. But I was very disappointed in them. They sounded really good, but the show was just really boring.
So let me ask you this: you definitely gave us your first disappointment. Who do you think, I guess, was the best, or who was overall you felt was like did the best that evening?
You know, it's really hard for me to say, like, because I really love Southern. I didn't go to Southern or anything like that, but I really liked their sound. Like, they were really giving me everything that I needed. However, I was most impressed, like, overall with North Carolina A&T. Their show was more creative than anybody, and it seemed to flow very well. I think that's something that they do very well, and that was something I also noticed from their performance last year. There's not a whole lot of, like, breaks in between songs and drum taps to get to the next transition. Their transitions were really good, so I appreciated that with them. And, oh, my goodness, Golden Delight. They were...
Yeah, they were straight. They were straight.
They were great. And those costume changes, like, I don't know what they're doing. I was sitting, like, really high up in the stadium, so I don't know what they're doing, like, changing or how they're changing clothes that fast, but I was really impressed with North Carolina A&T and Southern.
That's what's up, man. Oh, we sure appreciate it. You calling? What was your name again?
Tarek.
Okay, Tarek.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm just making sure. It's like sometimes I'm on my phone. I usually do this through a microphone, so I'm like sometimes I'm hearing people going in and out, kind of, sort of. But Rashad hadn't given us his first disappointment yet. Like, you know, I'm sure I'll bring him back on here in a second. I'm sure we'll get to it soon. But yeah, man, I totally agree with you about Bethune. I was just expecting, or I just kind of expect a lot from them. Maybe in my standards, you know, a couple of years ago, we on the show gave them like the best band of the year. A couple of years ago, because, you know, they were really good. And you just want to see them more from them, just because it's, you know, we're waiting on something more, you know, and their style is laid back too. So we sure appreciate the call, man. We definitely we invite you, you know, keep on listening tonight. And anything else you want to say or again or whatever, call back in, man. We definitely take you again, man.
Okay, sure.
All right, brother. 718-664-60. 718-664-6025. Listen to the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marcher Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. Rashad, I think, Rashad is back. Rashad, you there?
Man, I knew I was talking on stuff about Jackson, man, but you just couldn't help yourself, could you? You had to let me go.
Nah, man. We were listening. I was like, hello, and then we saw the call drop. But definitely, yeah. Go ahead. Did you hear what the last brother was saying?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, man. The thing about it was that the gimmick was so. Well, first of all, let me talk to you. I always say this. I am a general effect judge, which means to me, when I watch your show, I'm looking at every single aspect of the show. I'm looking at how well do you march, how well do you play, and does your show make sense? Does your show flow? Personally, from an overall show standpoint, I didn't think their show flowed at all. I think Jackson State is a fantastic band. I think they sound pretty good. It's hard to tell sound quality from that. but I think they sound pretty good. I think they're a great marching band. But as far as their show is concerned, I think their show had no flow whatsoever. I think it was a lot of starting and stopping and stuff that really didn't fit together. I think, and somebody I think put it best, it would have been a great homecoming show. If this was Jackson State homecoming, that would have been fantastic because you got the alumni there, you're bringing in the kids, you know, the show was a little lengthy. You're bringing in, you know, things that people recognize. Now you got a rapper coming in. I think homecoming would have been fantastic. But for a venue like Honda, it wasn't what they needed. You needed to do interesting things with the band more so than adding a lot of stuff to it. But other bands that did that, they changed what the band did in order to make the show interesting. So let me just throw this out here so you can get some more phone calls coming in. Jackson State, out of 8 bands, number 7.
Oh, number 7. Oh, I don't know, man. Number 7. I mean, they still sounded good, and their drill was good, but it's just it's like the turnovers. That's the thing. It's like they turn the ball over. They fumble the ball.
Exactly.
Almost like Seattle was doing a couple weeks ago. They just almost gave the game away. So that's to me. But 7 though. Oof, I don't know. Yeah, well, let's get to the other ones. At least we got all we had to say about Jackson State. Other folks can call in if they want to. Next one on the list was Alabama State. And, yeah, we definitely got to get to these next two before our next commercial break for my transition music come on. Alabama State, I thought they had a good show, great energy. I thought they sounded good. I thought they marched well. And I always feel that Alabama State keeps their formations well. Like, they get to a formation and, like, still formation, they can adjust well. And they execute it. I just think they had a solid show. I really liked the drill. And there's nothing I could really say, like, bad about them. It's just traditionally their phrasing is always super slaw, super slurry. You know what I mean? But them, I mean, I don't think that they played anything out of the box that really, put themselves out there in some type of musical endeavor, if you will. But I think that they did it. I think they stayed inside the box and they did a nice space show. However, I think it was a good show, and and this is you just said it for the last analysis. I got the same thing for a couple of bands, but it would have been good for like a good rivalry game show. But it was a safe show for the Honda. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they tried to be daring, if you will. I think they had a good executed show, and they put it out there like it had like a good, decent product. But it was safe, if you know what I mean. What did you think about Alabama State?
I agree 100% with that. 100%. I really don't have a whole lot to say about them because they weren't bad. Mm-hmm. They weren't great. They were just right there in the middle. Right? I got them as number 5. I think they did, like you said. I think they executed well. I think they sounded pretty good. They didn't sound bad. They didn't sound exceptional. It really wasn't a whole lot to read as I'm going back through my data bank. It's like I really, really didn't remember a whole lot. But I definitely agree with the fact that it was a very safe show. And, to be band number 6 in order as far as performance. They really needed to do something a lot more interesting than what they did. By the time you get to 6 bands, you gotta do something, man. You can't just go out there, okay, I'm gonna play a drill. Okay, a fanfare, now we'll do a drill. Now we'll do a slow song, have somebody sing, now we'll do a dance routine. Maybe I'm forgetting some stuff, but it was just a regular show. And for Honda, I really would have wanted to see something that was more out there, more creative.
Yeah, you don't know if you're going to go back. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said I ranked them number 5.
Okay. Yeah, but I was agreeing with all you saying because, it's important because you don't really technically know if you're going to go back to Honda for the next 5 or 6 years. You don't know how the voting is going to be per se.
Right.
So I definitely think you should make your mark so that, you keep coming. No doubt about it, A&T keeps getting selected because of what they're doing each year. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, they've been doing that thing, so it's like, okay, already we gonna vote them in per se. So that's cool.
I realized I forgot something. Whenever you get a moment.
Okay, let's take this guy. Someone from the 972 area code is calling in. Someone from the 972 area code. Give us your name and where you're calling from tonight. Nine seven two, you there?
Probably somebody trying to just listen.
Oh, might be. Yeah, it's 972. I think that's Dallas.
It is Dallas. Fuck you.
What's up, man? Who is this? We can hear you. All right, yeah. All right, brother. All right, whoever, yeah, I guess I got shy on this man. 718-664-6025, or yeah, like you said, they might want to call in and say nothing. So the next one on the list, and we got to get through these. We're getting close to the first commercial break. Is Howard University. I hate to say it, but this was probably the last place band of the night for me. The main issue for me, part of it seemed like their show was super basic. Let me take that. I love seeing the Divine Nine. I like what they did, and I think the announcer was giving some history and some information about each. I like that, but maybe for like a college fair or something like that, but not the Honda Battle of the Band. But and then on top of that, the execution was not any good. I don't think that they were accurate with the lines, or a lot of crooked lines. When they did the going in circles thing, it took me back 1997, my freshman year at Jackson State. Howard came to Jackson and did the exact same show. So that totally tripped me out seeing that. And they did the exact same thing, crooked circles and all. And you got me going in circles and circles going in different directions. Tripped me out because it was like, wow, I remember this, you know. But I just did not think it was for the Honda. It made it look like that they shouldn't have been there. And no shade to Howard, because all the bands sounded good. Everybody was good. But Howard, man, they didn't look like they were on the same par with that performance and with what they put out there and how they executed it. They had just the average energy, but again, the band still sounded good. What you think, Rashad, about Howard?
Well, let me do this out real quick. I did forget Alabama State did big girls at the end, and that's important.
Yeah,
because,
they did.
They did, because that did get house. So that was rememberable. And it's not a gimmick, because that is actually part of the dance squad. However, I just have to throw out there, anytime I see those girls, I'm automatically going to compare them to Purple Thunder. Another man, Marcus Graham from everyone listening. I'm going to compare them to Purple Thunder every time, and they're not Purple Thunder. They're just girls that are up there that have some weight on. And so seeing somebody do a split, okay, that's cool. Versus when you watch a squad like Purple Thunder, these girls can dance, and they just happen to have some weight. You know what I mean? So I think people are impressed. You don't see a big girl, do a split that often. But I really wasn't personally impressed with it myself. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that, because that was a big portion of Alabama State show.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. That's true.
Going on to Howard.
After this, we got to wrap this up because our commercial time is getting close here, so we have to go to commercial after Howard.
Okay. I personally really, really enjoyed the whole Greek fraternity tribute. I thought that it really showed. I think it worked well in a lot of ways. Number one, they were hitting formation after formation after formation, which I think really showed, the ability of their band. Because I think they were the same. Like, for example, Taladega didn't really do nearly as much, but here comes Howard, and they've made 9 different formations. Wow, that's cool. Plus, I think it really did a lot for Howard, because the announcer kept talking about the fact that so many organizations were founded at Howard. So it represents the university well. I thought it worked well. overall, I think that was the best part of this show to me. Beyond that, I really don't remember a whole lot of what they did. Let me just be honest. But I thought that treatment was great. It was disappointing, though, that the announcer made so many mistakes. The only mistake that I knew about was the fact that he called out the fact that AKA was founded in 1906. And that's a pretty big deal, seeing as how the alphas are always talking about, six, you know what I mean?
Right.
So to say that AKA founded in that year, I mean, that's a pretty big mistake. I don't know if the man was going off of memory, because he apparently made a lot of mistakes, from what I've heard from a lot of. So I thought Howard overall, this show was pretty interesting though, but just didn't really compare as much with the other bands. I put Howard number 6.
You put him number 6?
I put him number 6. They were, yes, I have them higher than Jackson.
Oh. See, that's what happens when you turn the ball over, man, and you beat yourselves, man. You get below Howard with that horrible show. You know what I'm saying?
He's below Howard. Oh, and going in circles, yeah, dude. I was very disappointed in that. I think it worked well for Honda. I did. I think it worked well for Honda. But from a band head perspective, I was so disappointed because I have seen that so many times in the last, ever since I've been in the band, which is College Band since 1995. I have seen that at least 5-6 times.
Yeah, that trips me out. I mean, because I remember that's what they did to us in '97. But yeah, unfortunately, we got to get to this commercial break here. This first commercial break. When we get back, we're gonna get Southern in here. We're gonna try to get the other bands out there. We probably might bleed into the last segment, if you will. But I'm gonna put you on mute. Someone from the 404 is calling in. We'll get you next here on the 90 Degree Show after our commercial break. But again, you are listening to the 90 Degree Show 2015 Honda Battle of the Bands. Thanks for listening. We'll be back.
Hello, this is Christine Nayo-Katzman, CEO and publisher of Halftime Magazine, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probation to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Hi, this is Chris Jones, owner and founder and creator of March Aerobics. My website is cj@marchaerobics.com, and you listen to the 90 Degree Show in the Marching Podcast Network. Now get your legs up.
All right, we're back. I'm sitting here talking to myself and wondering why I don't see the thing moving, and it's because I got the phone on mute. And we're back. 718-664-6025. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network. Brought to you by Blog Talk Radio, MarchPodcast.com, all our beloved sponsors. Thank you for listening. Broadcasting live from Jacktown, Mississippi, Sonic Boom Country, and our man Rashad on the phone. We actually have a caller here from the 404 area code, and we'll let them go ahead and speak your mind, and then we'll get into Southern University after this. The caller from the 404. Tell us where you're from and where you're calling from tonight. Or what's your name and where you're calling from tonight?
Yep, it's Tark again. I think I got disconnected. I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, that's all good, man. What's going on? You definitely can invite him to the show. Did you just want to listen to the show, or did you want to continue to comment?
Yeah, I'm just listening. I don't really have anything right now.
Yeah, that's all good. I'm trying to figure out, and I need to definitely talk to this support about screening these calls, because I'm sure people are doing the same thing you are. But that's what's up, man. I definitely keep you in the call queue so that you can continue to listen on your phone or your device or whatever it is that you may have. So, Rashad, let's go ahead and get back into it. We were talking about, let's see here, Southern University. That's where we left off. Southern University, man, I love their discipline on the field. I thought that them and Jackson State executed their formations the best. I love their transition as well. You know, I thought the moving in between the formations is really good. They have the fast steps per minute, and then they got into the text of Honda, you know, the word Honda, and even at the end when they were like all wild and running to the sideline, they were still able to keep their spacing and precision. I thought it was just very impressive, and I appreciate that because, you know, I love the drill and the accuracy of formation. They had a basic show too, though. You know what I mean? Nothing jumped out at me, and they received some house when the DA of the Honda was dancing. I think they had a big guy out in the front, which, you know, again, you know, that definitely gets house. You got the big folks out there dancing. Even though it's kind of old to me, it is what it is. But it wasn't as bad as someone singing in front of the band. You know what I'm saying? Just a standard performance from the S. You know what I mean? But, you know, very good, and I just appreciate the discipline. What did you think about Southern, man?
Well, first of all, I want to say, I heard when you came back from the commercial, I heard you say, the 90-degree show, which I like. I like that. That's cool. I don't know if I'll do that, though. It sounds like the hardest working man on radio, you know, but I like that, though.
I have to practice. I have to practice it. You know what I'm saying?
But Southern, man, let me just start out. Number one band, definitely, in my opinion. I really didn't see anybody that really competed with them. I think they were the best combination of execution and entertainment because, of course, that does not always match up. You have bands who do a very good show, a very interesting show, that don't execute well. That probably was kind of like what I was talking about with Howard. I thought what they did was interesting, not the best execution. Or you have bands like Jackson that this show, they executed well, but this show from a show format, I think was very bad. But I thought that Southern executed exceptionally well. They did a lot of drill. They really did. And it was everything flowed. They started in the corners. And let me also say to their, to give them praise, I think some bands had to stand around a little bit, but I know that Southern had to stand around for a long time before they got started because they're the last band. But anything that anybody got to say about anything, any cars that need to be awarded or whatever, they got to be done right between bands 7 and 8. So they stood on the field forever. So to then turn it on and still have that same type of energy coming out was great. They came from the corner, and I think it was kind of hard to really appreciate what they were doing starting from the corner initially, but I could tell they were marching well. Lines looked great. They did the thing where they made the the diagonal lines, and then each squad would take a seat and turn around. I really wasn't. Yeah. I didn't really get that necessarily. I didn't say like, wow, that's really cool. But it was interesting. What I mean is the diagonal itself was interesting as far as the formations that they made. Everything they made wasn't just symmetrical. But they were definitely putting out some power while they were doing that. Then from there, if I'm not mistaken, they made the S on the field, and then after they made the S, some of the members of the percussion section turned around so that they made the eighth note in the middle, which I thought was really, really cool. So from there, they made the stop on the field, and they talked about stopping the violence. And both of these things also remind me of some things from Alabama State as well. I thought Southern, I don't remember what Southern played, but I thought that their drill song selection was pretty good. Alabama State, if I'm not mistaken, drilled to Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars, which for what reason you would drill to that song, I don't have a clue, because there's a lot going on in that song. It's like drilling to Getaway. You know what I mean? You there, right. Left turn, down face. I mean, why? And then the second thing, once again, comparing them to Alabama State, is like Alabama State made unity on the field. But then the announcer was like, yeah, son.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Wow.
The unity, son, versus when Southern made stop, the announcer was like, we got to stop this violence. You know what I mean? And then they held it there for a second. And it really had so much of a better effect. It wasn't that much different than unity, but just the announcing right there was a whole lot better than, yeah, son, unity.
Wow. I didn't even really trip off that, to be honest with you. I didn't even think about that.
Then they, if I'm not mistaken, they moved, I think I'm missing a formation in there somewhere. But I know they made then they went to the concert shell, and they played a song. It sounded really good. And the fact that they put two modulations in the slow song was great. I was writing in my pronouncers at the time. I was like, I like this, but it needs a little bit more power. It needs to maybe have a modulation in there. And then not long after, then they went to a quiet portion. And then after they came back, they hit it, and then they modulated, and they modulated again. I was like, that's what we needed right there. Then they went to the dancer team and spelled Honda on the field. I like the fact that they divided the band in half and have half the band, doing the dance. And then when they got to the second half, then they brought out the guy. So it wasn't just watch one half of the band dance, then watch the other half of the band dance. But having, adding the person at that point, instead of what they normally do, if they will, when it's time to bring both sides of the band back together, that's when they'll have the big person dance. So I thought that was pretty cool. I noticed that he hurt himself. It seems like we've been having a lot of big guys hurting themselves lately. Like you see these guys out there doing the split and whatever, and then the band marches forward. But if you keep your eyes on the big guy, you see him kind of limping back to his position. And then, they came with the sideline blowdown, which was really needed. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say it was a regular show from Southern. I think they really put a lot of thought. I really think they did a Honda show, with all the different formations that they did. I don't necessarily know. It wasn't, overall, to me, Honda wasn't nearly as creative this year as it was last year. So I wouldn't say it was a mind-blowing show. I mean, I would say the Southern was the best band, but I wouldn't say that they were just, maybe I'm contradicting myself, but it wasn't like A&T last year where it's like after A&T performed, there wasn't any doubt that nobody else even has to perform. When Southern performed, it's just like, yeah, they're the best. But it wasn't just like, wow. Oh my God, that was incredible, But I really, really enjoyed this show, and I definitely give them props for doing such a fantastic job yesterday. This has been a banner year. Since Mr. Hamer took over, it's been and Jackson and Southern has always been good, but I think Mr. Hamer's been able to stand on the shoulders of, people before him like Greg and Jackson and other directors and really make this a banner year for Southern.
Okay. That's pretty good, man. Next one I had on my list was North Carolina A&T. And as far as North Carolina A&T is concerned, man, all I can say is they did it again. They are just far superior in putting on a show. They are the example, they are the bar to set for showmanship. nationwide. I seriously believe that. I don't believe they are as precise and accurate in their transitions and in their drill. I don't think that they looked as good as Southern and Jackson State in executing their drill. But you notice at times they move faster in some of the positions throughout the field. So very similar to that hybrid form, you know, they can march heel-toe, they can pick up their legs, but even the transitions, they have a speed with them. You know what I mean? And that's something that I noticed, again, from them. What's crazy about the feature for me this year is they're doing so many different things at once. I had to backtrack a couple times, especially with Cole Steele. And my little nephew's here in town at the house with me. He plays percussion in high school, and I showed him Cole Steele and, you know, what they did. They were doing so many different things, you know. I had to rewind just to, like, okay, I'm looking at the snares this time. Okay, now I'm looking at the cymbals this time. Like, you know, it was very, very showman style. They seem to be prepared for what a battle of the bands is, or what the Honda is. You know what I'm saying? They already have the template in place. So what they, you know, whatever they start cooking up or whatever, they're going to always seem to do well, or they're always going to have a good percentage of the people to say, oh, this was the best band because they put on the best show. Just flat out. You know, they have the theme, and they follow through with it all the way. And then they sound good. You know, they just do a really, really good job at showing they behind, like they say, at this event. What you think about A&T, Rashad?
I think one of the announcers' final statements during the A&T show, he said, now the Battle of the Bands can begin. And that's pretty much what it was. They were the fourth band to perform. And pretty much until that point, it was kind of, you know, until when A&T performed, you're like, okay, now the Battle of the Bands can perform, but can begin, because they really were the first band that you said, that is a Honda show. That band went out there and really seemed like they worked hard to put that together. Their introduction was great, you know, and the announcer said, you know, we're not here to compete against the other bands, we're here to compete against ourselves or something, you know. And so they really talked a lot of noise, kind of like Bethune would do, you know. But I personally don't really feel like they really delivered as much. And I guess their number one enemy yesterday was themselves. You know, last year they did a show that was so fantastic. It was just going to be so hard to beat that. But I felt like the show last year, okay, this is good. Okay, this is good. Okay, this is good. Oh, this is great. Oh, man, look at that. It just kind of built and built and built until they made that long diagonal, and then they moved it across the field. You were just going berserk at that point. But I really didn't feel like it worked in that same way. I think they had a great show. I think they sounded good. I really liked how they made the two straight lines, and they moved them vertically across the field. Like, anybody can make a straight line and move it from yard line to yard line, marching downfield. But it's very difficult to do that facing the press box. Very difficult to do that. But they did that. It wasn't perfect, you know, but they did do that. They made a lot of interesting formations on the field, not so much, you know, letters and things, but just, you know, kind of almost curvilinear type of thing. I really enjoyed some of the arrangements. It was very, very good. I mean, it was an exciting show. They were definitely up an echelon. But when they get finished, the first thing I thought to myself, and then at the very end, they said, you know, we're here with A&T, we always got to do something a little different. And it seemed like they borrowed the last about 5 seconds of last year's show. And that was it. You know, I was waiting, okay, here it comes. Here it comes. They're about to do something else that's just like, wow. And they didn't. It was just like they just kind of did the last few seconds of their show last year. And it's like, okay, that was cool. When A&T finished, I was like, that was a great show, but they didn't close the door. They did not say, this is it. You know, so I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with this. I personally
Hello? Rashard, you still there? Personally, and then, like, you went dark. I hope that ain't me. Oh, it was Rashard. It was Rashard again. Rashard dropped the call. I'm sure he'll call right back. Moving right along, though, and I'm definitely interested to hear how he felt about A&T or where he placed them. But I myself, I put them first. I didn't. The only thing I said Jackson State was 4, and that broke my heart enough. I didn't say what Alabama State was. I felt like Howard was last. So I will say that. So far I said 4, and I've given 8. And Alabama State. Man, I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit more. There goes Rashard. Rashard, you there, man?
It's funny how that call drops at certain times. Like when I was talking about Howard, we everything was all great. As soon as I say A&T's number 3, the call dropped.
So that's what you think? You think A&T was number 3?
Yeah, I don't know what the last thing you guys heard, but I was saying that after they finished, I just don't really feel like A&T had closed the door. When they said this is it, like nobody else needs to perform. That was how it was last year. I think they did a really good show, but I don't think it was the best show at Honda. So I actually had them at number 3. Right.
At number 3, okay, all right. I was just telling the listeners, I was just looking over. I didn't place them in order, but I at least said Howard was last. And I thought Jackson State was 4. I'll give Alabama State 5. Well, I don't know. That's tough, man. Because Alabama State did well. It's just hard probably putting them at 3. Alabama State at 3, but that's kind of like what my gut is telling me to do. I think maybe Southern got second and A&T probably got first for me. But like after 4 is like probably where it gets sketchy. So let's go ahead. So you at A&T at 3. I had it at 1. Now let's talk about Taladega. Taladega probably Twittered their way into this competition because people were ready to have them or to see how good they were. One thing that jumped out about me is that you could just tell that this band is young, or you can just tell that they just got the program and they just started performing on the field. Those executions of those drills, Southern, Jackson, all those things, all those schools we talk about, that's like years and years of work. That's like the ghosts of the past being out there with you executing stuff. But with Taladega, you just see the youthfulness. You see how young they are in this game and how many hours they done put into this thing. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't mess up in a big way or they didn't do anything wrong. They just felt like they just had a regular show. But at the Honda, you want to see your best, or it's when the directors are trying to come up with new things to add to the show to win a competition. Dega's show was like a show just for a basic weekend in your conference, and it shows that Dega has not really put that time in to be on the same stage with some of the bands. And I think that we're happy that they're making waves in the crafts, and it's great. They're great for conversation. But I don't think they were ready for this stage based on what they did or to face some of the other programs. They sounded good in a head-up situation on the field. They have more pull in the stands, but for this competition, I think they're just okay with the standard show. And I didn't like the design of the Dega with the G. With the G like running into the A, I didn't like really the design of that. And they had like 7 drum majors. You know what I'm saying? Again, I thought that they had an all right show, but just not ready for this level. So I had them at number 7 myself. What do you think about Talladega, man? And we got someone from the 225 calling in. It might be somebody from Alabama anyway. So tell us what you think about Talladega, and we'll get to the caller in the 225 area code in the queue.
But I agree with that completely, and I know I keep doing this. But I know you had a talk with me after the show's over. But real quick, did you see the guy from Jackson State Fall?
No, I didn't. It's Fall on the show?
Yeah, yes. Watch the Tiger run on again. And if you're looking at the band from the front, it's going to be this company front that's on the left. Yes. He, bam, busted his tail. Right in the middle of the Tiger run on.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, okay, Dagan. Yes, Dagan was number one disappointment of the day. Dagan.
Oh, okay.
Don't get it twisted. I really didn't expect a tremendous amount. I'm not trying to down the program. Please don't understand. But what I mean is, they don't have a football team. They don't have the opportunity to perform halftime shows as much as many of the other bands. And they are, like you said, they're really, really well known for being a stance band. I don't recall seeing a whole show from them pretty much the whole year. Now that's just because I didn't see them the whole season. But I know the very first game they did half a field show on the wrong side of 50, and then they parked and blowed 3 songs after that. And I saw some similar things to that. Like I think there were a couple of shows where they didn't do a dancing scene. So it was nice to see them at Honda finally do a whole show. And I thought the drill was actually pretty good. Like wow, they're actually trying to do some things here. I think they had a decent sound, but it was just a regular show. Like, it was a great show for the first game of the season. I mean, I imagine the band staff was around and, like, check this out. I got it, guys. Here it is. First thing we're going to do is that we're going to play a fanfare from the side of the field. All right? Then check this out. Then we're going to do a drill, and we're going to make our names. Hold up. After that, we're going to play a slow song, standing in place. A fast song, standing in place. Then after that, check this out. This is going to kill them. We're going to do a dance routine. And then we're going to march off the field. That's going to be brand new. Like, seriously? Like, there was nothing about their show that was special. Nothing. I thought they did an okay job of executing it, but I just can't believe that they went to the Honda Battle of Bands, as you mentioned, the Super Bowl of bands, and said, this show that we're putting together right here, this show is going to be better than every band out there. I personally feel that any band has the opportunity to win. I've been to Battle of Bands. My very first Honda, Prairie View was the band that is destroyed. But in my opinion, the second and third bands were Virginia State and Clark Atlanta. And this is a Battle of Bands that had FAMU and Bethune Cookman there. I think anybody can take the Honda. So it doesn't matter if they've been around for a short period of time. It's just a matter of being creative. And they just did nothing creative at all. They played Family Guy for their, early on into this show. And I really thought the placement of that was very poor. You don't open with Family Guy. Like, Family Guy is one of those things that's like, oh, let me throw you off real quick and hit you with Family Guy. You weren't ready for that. That's where you put that. Not at the beginning of your show. So that, to me, that was the number one disappointment. I wasn't disappointed in their overall performance. I was just completely disappointed in their lack of doing anything special at all for the Honda Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, we are definitely 100% on the same page with that one. Got a couple of callers that popped up since we talked about Taladega. Caller from the 225 area code. Yeah, caller from the 225 area code. What's your name and where you calling from tonight?
This is Mike, man. I'm calling from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
What's going on, Mike? How you doing tonight, man?
Ain't nothing, man. First and foremost, man, I'm calling from Baton Rouge, so you already know who I'm riding with. But that's not the whole reason for me calling. That's not the reason for me calling, man. I'm calling to let you know, man, I enjoy you guys' show. We agree to disagree. I'm 100% for funding this show, man, and taking it to another level next year. And
all right.
I'm just proud of my Jaguars, man. But the only thing I'm disappointed in, down this side of the coast, man, we bleed Southern. But back in the day, no matter how bad Southern did another band, that band would always come back with their own traditional style. After leaving the Honda, I'm starting to see too many sneak peeks of their style from years in the past. Stick to your own traditional style, man. Stick to what made you.
Okay. So
that's what I'd like to see more.
So you like to see more like so let me ask you, you think a lot of bands are like turning into like Baby Southern?
But I don't mean to sound like a boasting or nothing. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But in a small view, I think they're really trying to do whatever it takes to try to win. What works for Southern works for Southern. That's not going to work for everybody else. Stick to what made your band.
And there's something to be said about that, because for me, it's like the horn presence. Like when I think of Southern, I definitely think of the brass, but it's like that horn line and like that different sound. And like when I love Miles and Taladega, and like even when I hear these Power, that's like what I'm thinking of, like little Baby Southern. Rashad, what you think about that, man?
As far as people trying to play powerfully, like Southern?
Yeah, like that horn presence, or like, you know, kind of like just replicating like what Southern's doing in a sense, or like that sound, if you will.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the band director at Taladega is a graduate of Southern, so I think you're going to do what you know. You know, and that's kind of hard to get away from that. My thoughts on the sound, though, would be that in the Honda. Now, granted, I was in the skybox I was in was kind of towards the sideline, so I might be completely off on this. But I think sound starts to become a whole lot less of an issue in the dome. You know, in your open field, man, that sound, you can overwhelm people with it. But, you know, when you're in the dome like that, it's hard to really make yourself different. And that was definitely to Talladega's detriment. Everybody knows Taladega is loud as crap.
Right.
But they could not stand out from the other bands in that dome. They just could not. The dome was just sucking their sound right up.
Okay, man, I appreciate y'all, but I was dropping this on you. To piggyback on what I was saying, for years we've been making fun of Grambling. Okay? Grambling's been the joke band of the SWAC for years. Yet and still, though, no matter how bad we embarrass them at the Classic, guess what? Grambling will come back next year, and they go do Grambling. They're not going to change. Now, that might be good or bad. They going to keep on wheeling that bass drum. They going to keep on with their woodwind. They going to dance in the middle of a field show. They going to dance with the dancing dogs. But guess what? That's Grambling. You know, I kind of shake my head a little bit, man, because if you follow band like I follow band, I've been doing this since 6th grade. I attended the only middle school that had a marching band. If you watch other shows, I'm not gonna call no names, bro, because you know that's where the beef starts at. You don't see another band do a show Southern did 2 weeks ago. Come on, man, that was unheard of 10 years ago, man. Stick to what makes your band. If you stick.
Hello, you still there, bro?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, no, I'm talking, bro. 225. You still there?
Yeah.
You sound like
yeah,
you
I'm
went
still
out. Okay.
I'm still here.
But say the last thing you said. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
I said there's no winner in a battle of the bands. Never. Because everybody's going to be biased. You're going to go with what you used to and what you like. Stick to what makes your band unique. And at the end of the day, if you execute it to the fullest, can't nobody beat you but you.
That's what's up, man. And that's what's up,
like
man.
I say, man, I love your show, bro, but we need to get this show at least on a regular radio station. And can't nobody do that but us. So you need to get on Facebook or whatever. You need to get on bandhead.com and let us know what we can do to help you succeed to the next level, man.
Hey, brother, I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. We definitely be putting things in the works. I definitely put stuff out with social media, Facebook, but trying to reach that different echelon with like a pitch or whatever it is to get like some true sponsorships. That's probably the next level.
I think you got to go. You got to go, man, brother. Don't sit on it too long, man. Somebody somewhere It's
I know, right?
what you're doing. You understand?
I know, right?
Man, look, bro.
Oh, I know
I
that's
love
right.
meeting with y'all, man. I'll be waiting for football season next year, bro. Y'all keep up the good work, yeah.
All right, definitely, man. We're definitely having some good interview topics throughout the year on the Chopping It Up show, too, brother. So definitely send us your information, and we have you on the show as well, man. I was telling Rashad, we always want to open up what we do. But, yeah, man, you can be a regular on the show next fall if you want to. Just email the show and we'll hook you up.
I'll do that as soon as I get off the line, man. Y'all take care.
All right, brother.
Hey, you
thanks,
too, man. Good talking to you.
All right.
718-664-6025. We got another call in here from the 678 area code. Sounds like Atlanta. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from tonight?
Yes, sir. I am from Atlanta. Yeah, this is Walter. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right, man. How you doing tonight, man?
Look here, man. I can't complain, man. Just a lover of band, brother. That's all.
Okay. Did you get a chance to check out the Homs this weekend? What you think, man?
Most definitely, brother. That's my first one in about 4 years, man. I'm a shoot from the hip, man. I'm a shoot from the hip. I think as HBCU bands, I think that we're getting stagnant with our shows and our performances.
Okay.
I've been watching band a long time. As we sit back and we watch the shows, and you gentlemen as well, I'm sure both of you all could probably sit back and pretty much so predict what was going to happen at the Honda with every band that was going to come out there for the most part. If you talk about originality, and I'm not even a fan of North Carolina A&T. I actually grew up in Greensboro and stuff like that. Used to know Hodge, man. He went to my church. Good guy, but I've never really been a fan after that. And I'm here to tell you, man, that's the only band to me that really had the complete show. Period, point blank. You can drop almost everybody else wherever they need to go, but they had the complete show. Well, besides, I'll say Cookman, they were boring, but at the same time, you can't deny musicality. You can't deny execution. You can't deny a lot of different things that Cookman does. And, a lot of people give Cookman a hard time. And I'm not the biggest Cookman fan either, being that I went to FAMU. But Cookman, I got to give them the props where it is. I mean, those brothers at Cookman, they put it down, even though they're not the most entertaining. But if you talk about from a educational standpoint and just from sitting back and being a music educator, if you don't give them some props, then you're not really a music educator. You're lying to yourself, or what have you. And I think they did a pretty good job. And I mean, everybody that kind of falls with that, but come on, I think that we as HBCU bandsmen and bands, I think we're treading water. We're making a whole lot of left turns, and we keep going in circles and doing the same thing. And I think what A&T has done has stepped out the box, done some different things that we might even consider as quote-unquote white or what have you, but have put our own little style to it, as they've done too, as predominantly white college bands have done as well with some of the things that we do. We all have borrowed from each other.
Right.
But they've stepped out the box and outside of what they normally do to go ahead and you know what, we're gonna do something different. And you know what, I'm sure they caught a lot of kickback from back in the day from old heads and stuff like that. Oh, they're ready to march on Washington. Yes, I'm sure with some of the things they're doing, because this A&T looks completely different than the A&T that Hodge had. It's just it's a totally different band, and I got to go ahead and I got to give props where they do. Hey, I love Southern, I love Cookman. I got some students who went to Taladega, so I got to love them a little bit, for what they do in the stands and all that kind of stuff. And I love all black college bands, but if you talk about a complete show and somebody who's able to go out and have a Honda show, a show for the Honda, I got to give it to A&T past 2 years, flat out. But I think as black college bands, I think that we got to get outside of only what we know. So I went to FAMU. I teach high school band, but people don't know where I came from. Like, man, you ain't doing the classic FAMU show, man. You ain't just doing a follow the leader, a couple of picture drills, a concert selection, or a dance routine. No, you're not playing all FAMU arrangements. No, I think that as a music educator, if the last thing I want is my band to look just like FAMU. And if I went to Southern, last thing I would want is my band to look like Southern. you know, if you're in my opinion, if you're a true music educator, you can go ahead and get out of that, man, and just kind of push forward and, you know, see good things in other people's stuff. And I mean, when I first got to my school 15, 16 years ago, when we had a band camp, I had cats come in from. I had a young lady who did my dance line from Southern. 2 cats came from Cookman. Did my drum major cat from Morris Brown. Another cat from FAMU. A ranger from Clark. Just different things, because we all can add a whole lot to the pot. But I think we get so railroaded into just one thing. This is all we know. And, you know, and once again, I guess we even talk about Taladega's band director himself. I mean, hey, great guy. I admire him for what he's done, from taking that band from nothing to where it is now. But at the same time, you got to find your own identity, and don't take Jackson and Southern and have a baby and call it Taladega. You know what I'm saying? You got to go ahead and, you know, you got to drive. You got to go ahead and they got the numbers. He obviously has the support from the university. Them cats could be cold. But if you talk about rankings as of yesterday, I'd have to put them last just simply because of the identity. Now, if they'd have got up in them stands, I'd be talking a little bit different. But that's just my little spiel or what have you. This is my first time ever tuning in to you guys. I'm an old head, fifth quarter person. Don't even really go to the site that much anymore. I know Christy and all those folks and all that, but really, man, I think what you guys are doing is giving a good outlet. It was actually a pleasure just sitting there listening to folks all evening. Y'all doing a wonderful job.
Hey, man, we really appreciate the call, man. Yeah, really appreciate that call. We definitely want to keep moving along, because I'm about to get cut off here with our second commercial break, Rashad, and we still got 2 more bands to talk about, man. So I may just let this commercial break come in now, so we can go ahead and get it out the way. When we come back, we're going to talk about. We still got 2 bands to talk about. We talked about Cookman a little bit already, but we need to talk about the great Tennessee State so far. So far, brother, you say you had Taladega where, Rashad?
Number 8.
Number 8, okay, yeah, and I had them at number 7. We still got Tennessee State and Cookman left. I'm going to put you on mute, Rashad. I'm going to put myself here on mute right before we go to the transition for our last commercial break here. But you're listening to the Honda 2015 here on the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the MarchingPodcast.com and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. We'll be back after this break.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I marched in the Jackson State Marching Band, which was then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Chopping It Up is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information or hope in their endeavors. Chop it up with us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping It Up, changing the world through positive interaction.
Hello, this is Charles Cheese Waters, proud graduate of Rush College in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and father of the owner of Block Band Music and Publishing. And you're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
right, we are back here in our last segment here. I'm bringing Rashad back in. In our last segment, we're going to talk about these last two bands here, Bethune Cookman and Tennessee State. And we'll get into it a little bit if we got some time about if we want to add maybe a stand competition to the Honda Battle of the Bands. And then we'll turn out here. We'll be closing there at the top of the hour. And then, we'll close out the show, whatever it has you will. We'll be back next week, I believe. We'll talk with Rashad maybe in 2 weeks, but we'll be definitely letting you know. We'll have the Marching Podcast Awards, and we'll give out what we thought based on what we heard, what we saw this year overall. And that'll be our last show for the year until next fall for the 90 Degree Show. But we'll be picking things up with the Chopping It Up Show, all those great interviews from all our illustrious folks from our beautiful community that is going to change the world through this network. You'll hear about all these outstanding, educated people changing the world through music and education, entrepreneurial spirits, business, finances, and the like. And let me tell you, it will definitely change the way we feel about things, the way we see ourselves. Because we are not all entertainers and athletes, but we come from very, very broad, very educational backgrounds as well. So we want to definitely highlight that on the Chopping It Up show. And we want to hear from people like Rashad out there doing great things in the world, just like Block Band Music and Publishing is doing great things. And before we close out, we'll hear a little bit about Block Band Music and Publishing and things that they're doing here in the future, upcoming this year. So, Rashad, man, we got these last two bands to talk about, turn this transition music off. The last one was Tennessee State and Bethune Cookman. I gave Tennessee State, I had them at 3. I thought that Tennessee State, thought they had a good show. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. I had them at 5. I had Alabama State at 3. I had Tennessee State at 5. A lot of the same reasons why from the other bands. They actually tried to step out the box a little bit. They made a plane, and according to, of course, I think what some folks were saying over the years, they were saying that like Tennessee State was like one of the first people to do like the animations and put all that stuff out there on the field. But they had the plane, I think, for Southwest. I think because they're one of the major sponsors or whatever, and the plane moved. So I thought that was all right. I liked the way of the design of the plane because like it was like the side view of the plane, so like the wings were different. So I did like the way it was designed. I thought they were just good. I thought that I don't know what they were forming. I saw something that was like a 404 on the bottom. So I didn't really know what that was. And then again, I couldn't really hear what the announcer was saying if he was explaining it. So I don't know what that was. Then they had another formation, AOB Nation, and I'm not sure what that was either. I did enjoy the boxes part of their drill. They did the drill, and they had, like, the boxes going in between each other, in and out of each other. I thought that was interesting. And then I thought another good I don't know what was going on, but it seemed like the drum majors were throwing something in the air, threw some white dust in the air. And then I saw somewhere online that was supposed to be cocaine or something. You know anything about that, Rashad?
I know nothing about the love and the cocoa.
Yeah, I thought that was that, but it didn't sound like they were playing that song. So, but I saw the drum majors, 2 of them, or maybe all of them, they did throw some white stuff out there. And I was like, oh man, let's not get crunk about that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the song myself, and it's crunk because it's like super ghetto. Yeah, it's super hood. But yeah, let's not get into cocaine, y'all. That's way too expensive. But yeah, let's not get into that, people. All right, so what did you think about Tennessee State, man?
Tennessee State. Well, going back to A&T, I told you that I didn't think that A&T had closed the door on the shows, and I said that there are still bands out there that can beat them. And I think that when Tennessee State came up, I said Tennessee State could do it because of their creativity. They're not going to outblow them. They're not going to they might out-drill them a little bit, but Tennessee State is a very creative band, in my opinion. Now, granted, people who follow Tennessee State may not necessarily agree. I love their show. I love the fact that they were hitting so many different formations. So let me go through some of the ones that you were talking about. Yes, they formed the field, and I thought it was really cool that they did the kind of the not the side view and not the front, but kind of a mix of the side and the front, almost like a three-dimensional type of view of the plane, which was really, really cool because it's, you know, generally when you think about somebody making a plane, you're thinking about FAMU making a plane. It's always the cross-section of the plane. So seeing it from a different angle was really cool. And what they made, the 404, they were playing Rep Your City, or something about Rep Your Zip Code or something. And so they made the 404 zip code, which is the zip code for Atlanta. And then they made above that with some squiggles on either side.
That's what okay. Yeah. See, I didn't know. And the squiggles, what's that? What's the squiggles about, man?
I mean, they were just squiggles, you know what I mean? Just filling up the dead
like
space.
The border. That's like the border, I guess.
Exactly, exactly.
See, they need to come up with something else. I don't know. See, that added to like the confusion, like, you know, where it's just like, what exactly was that, you know? Well, but I had a feeling you would know what it was anyway. So. Yeah,
and I think the announcer really was hitting home with them things, and that was, I don't know if they read the analysis or heard me on the radio show last year, but I was really digging into them last year as far as the announcing was concerned, because Tennessee State did some very creative things last year. I mean, 2 years ago, excuse me. But from a general effect perspective, I thought their show didn't go over well. Like, I thought it was really good, but it didn't go over well, and one of the main reasons because the announcer, you couldn't hear him explain what's going on. Versus in this time, I thought that the announcer was very good. So it may not be audible on the video, but on definitely there, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. So the next thing that you saw was hashtag HBobNation, which is Honda Battle of the Bands. And so that was really cool because one of the things that they were making sure that everybody did was go on Instagram and go on Twitter and hashtag HBOB. Like, this is what the Honda Battle of Bands was having us to do, you know, and send messages through via those ways. And they would, and actually throughout the any band's performance, they would show people saying different things via that way.
Nice.
So for then Tennessee State to come out and do, and what they did was they had some girls on the side and with pieces like yarn or something like that, and they held the yarn up in different ways in order to make the hashtag sign, and then the HBob and then the nation underneath. So I was like, man, that's really cool. Okay. So, and then, like you said, they made the boxes, and I thought they executed those boxes really, really well. Slow song it.
Oh, you breaking up, man. You breaking up. Hello? Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know if you're starting to break up. I don't hear you. Yeah, there it was. We dropped Rashad again. We actually have some callers that have actually called in since we've been talking. Caller from the 601 area code right here in Jackson. What's your name and where are you calling from tonight?
This is Maurice Bailey.
Maurice, what's up, man? What's going on with you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. I'm doing real good.
Yeah, man. I saw Maurice. Maurice came and dropped by the repass. So thanks to Trump Funk. Came through this weekend. It's good to see you, man. Did you get a chance to see any of the bands this weekend?
Yeah, I did. I got a chance to see a few of them.
Okay. Well, tell me what you thought, man. Like, who do you think, like, who is the best in the last? Because unfortunately, we pressed for time.
Yeah.
So tell me what you think, man.
I only looked at a few. I'm just going to go through real briefly. I only got a chance to look at Jackson State, Southern, A&T, Tennessee State. I glanced at some of the other ones, but I didn't look at them, you know, thoroughly. In my opinion, seriously, from glancing and looking, a lot of people. I don't think Howard should have even been there. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to put it out there. You bring the honesty out of me, Joe. You're going to get me in trouble. I really do believe that if I had to put stuff in order, get a pound for pound between 1 and 2, I'd probably give A&T, North Carolina. Let me say something about A&T, because I heard the other brothers speaking about A&T a few minutes ago. North Carolina A&T has always been one of the most slept-on bands at black colleges. They have. I don't care what it is. If you're not following black college bands, because a lot of people just follow certain conferences, but I've been following different conferences, different bands all over the country. And A&T has never just been, in my opinion, just complete trash. This year, they've done a very good job of presenting a good show. They were very clean. They're a smaller band, so they have to, make smaller formations. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that. But if you don't have the numbers everybody else has, you just do what you got, what you have. I don't like auxiliaries, but I think North Carolina A&T did a very good job with their auxiliaries. They used them to the fullest extent, and they really made their show look good. And if you're going to have auxiliaries for your band, they should look like that. I think Fire and Desire was the perfect song for them as far as the ballad. I mean, they really, really did a great job. If I had to give through and through, I'd probably give North Carolina A&T number 1. The person I would go to for number 2 would probably be Tennessee State, but not just because I watch Tennessee State a lot. It's because of their energy. I feel like the first part of Tennessee State's show was very, very energized, which is normally what we would say about the Boom. But Tennessee State really, really came out, and they really made a lot of branding. Guess what Rashad was saying before he broke up? I wish he would have kept going, because he was saying some good stuff. Tennessee State did a good job at putting brands out there. They are very creative. He's correct. Sometimes creativeness can hurt you. Being innovative and being creative brings a certain point of failure along with your success. And I think that the airplane was a failure. But all in all, in the making the airplane, even though I don't think it was a failure, I think that what their show was portraying and what they were putting out was enough. I think the show was better energized in the beginning and kind of got a little slow around the ends. But I would probably have to give them number 2, and number 3 would probably be JSU. I did not particularly care for the Going Down ballad that JSU played. I didn't care for that either. I'm Going Down, I didn't care for that. Georgia on My Mind worked. With Russell Gunn being there and then putting ATL and Georgia on the field, I really felt like the drill was real good. Them doing two different step movements inside the drill. That would be my top 3. Normally after top 3, I go into more discussion and more critique, and we don't need that right now. But I will go back and talk about Tennessee State and talk about how much I can appreciate their creativeness, just like Rashad was saying. They put out a product that was very, very hyped. You couldn't help, even looking on the internet, you couldn't help but get hyped. So if I felt it through the internet, I know I would have felt it there in the crowd. So what I do want to discuss and talk about is what y'all probably already mentioned it, I'm going to shut up, is the fact that dance routines are horrible these days.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to bring that point out is because of me talking about creativeness with Tennessee State. I think everybody's trying to get these old band members, or they're trying to get dance people. They're paying dance people to come in. Maybe the little old school in me is just there, but I think they should let these students be creative and do their own dance routines. Let the students get together with their own creative concepts and let them get creative and innovative to do dance routines, because if you don't, you're going to end up getting a whole lot of gimmicks. But more so than that, you're going to end up getting people from the outside of the program coming in and discouraging the new ideas of these young guys. Let these young 19, 18-year-olds get in there and do their own ideas. Secondly, the announcers what put the idea out there for the people. If the announcer doesn't do good with the dance, then the dance won't be great. It just won't be. So I think that black college bands are losing in that. We're getting so creative on everything else. When we get to the dance, we think we can just get out there and put a fat guy out there, put some fat girls out there, and just laugh at the fact that we got fat folks. Put a split on it, and then just go ahead and call it a day. And I think that, I just think we should stop doing that. I think we should go back to doing the whole show. In a world of fifth quarterism, because, if you're going to, I believe you're going to do a show, you should pay attention to the entire thing. So I think the dance routines were all horrible for all bands, and I think the bands need to go back and revisit what makes a real routine a real routine. What creative things can you put toward it along with the announcer to make it pop? So if I was going to put it forward, Southern would have been number 4. I love their I Wish Heather Headley ballad. I don't care what nobody says. They played they played the crap out of that. Cause I got to give my head off to Nathan Hammer, man. He wrote the Jesus out that thing, man. I'm telling you, that was nice.
Well, that's what's up, man.
Yeah,
we got to cut out. We got to cut out Maurice, man, because we only got so much time left in the show. But yeah, we'll keep you on because we still ain't talked about Cookman yet. So hold on there for me. Rashard, are you still there, man? Are you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Will you finish talking about Tennessee State?
Sure. And I'm right in line with your man, as he's agreeing with me. Love the energy at the beginning. And the slow song was great. I can't remember what they played, man, but they sounded great.
They played, oh my God. Just heard it.
The Floetry song.
They played
Floetry song.
Siren. Yeah, they played Yes. Say Yes.
Say Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Now that I remember, the chords at the beginning of that, even from the beginning, they were sounded so rich. And those trombones, man, they were, once again, Tennessee State definitely has one of the strongest trombone sections of any showstop band. They actually put those trombones to use. They were sounding great, man.
They did. Yes.
But just like my man said, the Asher team, like, they risked. Let me just go ahead and say I had Tennessee State as number 2. And I'm sure a lot of people disagree with that, but I really love their creativity and their energy coming out. It was just really exciting to me. But yes, when they got to that dancer team, they were really risk losing that number 2 spot, in my opinion, because it just the energy was just it was done.
It was gone.
And then they made the TSU, and it's like, okay, we got TSU, and now we're off the field. So the last half of this show was really a letdown. But the first half, I thought Tennessee State executed well, and they did a very interesting show. So there you go.
All right, Rashad, what do you think? Bethune Cookman, right quick, we kind of touched about it, but basically a lot, and I think you said you disagree with it, but a lot of people online were saying that it was just a very basic show. Nothing jumps out at you. Cookman is a very good band, good precision, good dance, decent enthusiasm, but nothing that makes you jump out your seat. People and my man, the first guy that called on was talked about the emoji that they pulled out. That was just way too risky. You kissing Atlanta. It's like enough people kind of made fun of them after they did it at the Florida Classic. So why they did it again was I don't know. I think that really hurt them per se as well. But they still know they need to maybe have some flavor, add some swag. I don't know, maybe add some spice or throw some sugar in there or something. I don't know. But similar to JSU as far as just the template of the show, not jumping out, similar to like what we talked about A&amp and that level of showmanship. You just don't see that level of showmanship out of Bethune Cookman. And Rashad, I know you said you disagree. So tell me what you think about Cookman's show. And after this, man, we want to run down and say what you thought, like from top to bottom, and then we'll have to close out the show. So tell me what you thought about Cookman, man.
I agree with you that they definitely don't have the level of showmanship like a band like A&T, without a doubt. But I thought it was good that they did try to do something different than everybody else, because we were making jokes in the skybox saying, man, I bet you can just turn backwards and just listen to the music and tell us exactly what they're doing. But they tried to do something different. They started from the sidelines, and they started a little dance, which I thought was cool. Really hype. And of course, Bethune Cookman dances very well in a very uniform. And then it went right from that into the drum major doing their thing, which I thought was a great transition. It was a shame that the drum major dropped his mace. Now, if he had just dropped it and left it on the ground, nobody would have known. But because he went and picked it up, that really hurt the energy building there. Then they went into the drill. The drill was very clean, but it was short. When you compare their drill to a band like A&T or a band like Southern, it's like, okay, they made a 10, which I really didn't hear what 10 was about. I guess they been to 10 how to battle band. One second, guys. 1 second. Sorry about that. We have a tradition that we do anytime we pass states as we're driving back home.
That's cool.
Anyway.
That's all good.
But yeah, they made the 10, and then they made the emoji. I don't understand why they did that. That was a complete mistake in my part. I mean, to me, they're, like you said, they were getting razzed by that. Why not make something simple that everybody knows what the heck that is? Well, you know, I mean, this is a cell phone generation, but still, how many older people know what that is? And once again, half your audience is, 27 and up. We don't know what the heck that is.
Right.
So
exactly.
that was a fail on that part. But that slow song, man, all I do is think of you, baby girl. Oh, boy. When they first first started, and then every time they got to a mezzo piano or a pianissimo portion, and you could really hear the ballads and blend and those woodwinds, good God, they sounded incredible. I mean, man. And then they did this big crescendo, started really soft and kept building it. Now, I don't like the fact that the crescendo was building, and then it got loud. Like, the last part of the crescendo happened way too fast. They should have kept kind of keeping that consistent, kind of accelerating gradually. Well, not accelerating, but getting louder gradually instead of kind of, okay, here we are, we're back and forth again. But dance routine was cool. They hit the BCU, but then at the end they did another dance, and once again very uniform. It's kind of like a really drawn out gush, because they were kind of dancing in the gush position for about a good 30 seconds there. Once again, very uniform. Me personally, they went right after A&T. This is just me. I had a hard time initially deciding which one I liked better between A&T and Bethune. A&T does a great show. There's no doubt that they are very, very exciting. But like somebody said earlier, when it comes to Bethune Cookman, you cannot deny their precision. And if you get out there and if you put Jackson Bethune Cookman at the bottom without paying attention to the fact that they executed fantastic, then you're not really doing a service to bands, because anybody can go out there and do something exciting and it not be done well, but it's exciting. But Bethune Cookman does a show that I enjoyed. I wasn't bored by it. I thought it was okay because I think their dancing was cool. But it wasn't nearly the energy level that A&T had. However, A&T show was much more complex, so that's why I ended up putting them over the top. Watching the straight lines and things, A&T definitely had the victory over Bethune Cookman, whereas Bethune's was more simple. If they had done a lot more drilling, maybe I would have liked it a little bit more. Okay, so that puts A&T Bethune at number 4.
Okay, so what is your list? We're gonna have the Rashad list here, and I give you because my list doesn't change, brother. I done heard some insight and stuff I agree with. So go ahead and tell me what you think, Rashad. What's your list, man?
Okay, number 8. Number 8, Taladega, not ready. Number 7, Jackson State. Lose the gimmick, be yourself would have been a lot better. Number 6, Howard. Got to work on precision and use your own band members. Number 5, Alabama State. Do something more creative. Number 4, Bethune Cookman. Very precise. Just do more drill. Number 3, A&T. Great show. Wasn't last year. Number 2, Tennessee State. Man, great the first half of the show. You got to get some better dance routines. And number 1, Southern University. Exciting. Lots of different things. Lots of powerful music. Still would have liked a little bit more creativity from all bands.
Okay. All right, well, let me give mine, and we'll definitely have more topics on Twitter or Facebook or whatever you guys contact the show to see this conversation. I had A&T at number 1. I put Tennessee State at number 2. I put Southern at number 3. BCU at number 4. Put Jackson State at number 5. ASU at number 6. TC Taladega at 7. And I got Howard last. So we got 15 seconds left. Thank you so much, Maurice. Thank you so much, Rashad. And we'll be back and get a little bit more in depth with the Marching Podcast Awards for 2014-2015. Thanks for listening tonight. And as is, the lectures you may deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time, and we'll wrap up the year with the Marching Podcast Awards 2014-2015. Good night, y'all.